All right. Today is another day full of Christmas charity. If you remember what I've been saying, Christmas charity started out with people that I felt like they didn't like me, but I liked them. And that was how I did it before. But now I'm just doing people that I like. Whether they like me or not, that's irrelevant. But I like them, and I think you should follow them. Here is today's episode. It's going to be focused on a guy named Josh Daws. Josh Daws is a guy on Twitter. Is he a pastor? I don't know if he's a pastor or not, but he's got a podcast. I mean, who doesn't? And he has a lot of very interesting things to say. I think I remember Josh from very early on when I started doing content, because I remember him, and actually, I don't think I would have remembered the name, but I remember his little handle here where it says he's just trying to help. That's how he describes himself. He's just trying to help. And I remember early on, he would always talk to me, and I felt like he agreed with what I was saying about the woke church and stuff like that. But he didn't really like my tone, and he didn't really think that I was always fair, and he had no problem challenging me and telling me those things. This was back before I canceled my Twitter account. Of course, I have a Twitter account again, but I remember that. I remember that about him, and he was always trying. To me, it seemed like he was always trying to be very winsome, and I was being too mean and stuff like that. That's how it always seemed. But that to me, disagreeing with me on my tone, that's not a qualification for me liking you or sharing your stuff or being friends with you. So I always found his stuff somewhat helpful. When I returned to Twitter, though, I definitely noticed that, he was still very, I guess, winsome in a good way. And, winsome is kind of like a naughty word in my circles, and understandably so, because most winsome people are complete idiots. But there is a form of winsomeness that's good. And when I came back to Twitter, Josh certainly seemed to me to have found that kind of winsomeness. It's the kind of winsomeness that is not abrasive, but it's also willing to call a spade, willing to tell the truth. And, he'll find a non-abrasive way to say it. And, of course, I don't think you need to. I think some truth needs some abrasion, you know what I mean? Sometimes people need to be smacked in the face with the truth, and there's times for that, right? There's times for smooth words, and there's times to smack someone in the mouth. But Josh always seemed to me to be the guy, hey, I'm going to try to find smooth words if I can, as long as it doesn't cause me to not tell the truth, and that's the key. If you're going to be winsome, you have to be on guard all the time, because there's a temptation to be so winsome that you actually bend the truth. You actually start to stretch the truth. And at that point, that winsomeness has become a sin. That winsomeness has become compromise. And I feel like Josh Daws does a really good job going right up to that line, but not crossing it. Now, again, hear me saying you don't need to do this. I think sometimes you need to say abrasive things like for example, let me show you. Here is Smosh. I said Smosh. Smosh Baals. Here's Smosh Baals. He posts the picture of the White House and he says sodomocracy. I think that's really good. Of course, I riffed on it, classical sodomocracy, just to make fun of classical liberalism, which I think is worthy to be made fun of because classical liberalism has failed and will always fail. In any case, sodomocracy, he's not trying to not be abrasive there. He's trying to be abrasive. And I think rightfully so, because this is disgusting. This is idolatry. This is evil. And so sometimes people need to know exactly how evil it is. They need to associate this with the city of Sodom that was destroyed by God, just like we will be destroyed by God for this kind of insanity. But I think that this is appropriate. I don't think you'd find Josh Daws saying something like that, sodomocracy. And that's fine. Again, winsomeness is not bad in and of itself. It's only bad when you start to bend the truth or bend the seriousness of something. And I don't think Josh Daws does that. Now, does that mean that I agree with everything Josh Daws says? Definitely not. I saw Josh Daws, and he's very concerned with Andrew Torba and things like that. And to be quite honest, I think that I can understand some of what Josh Daws said about Andrew Torba, but I think a lot of it is overblown. I think a lot of it is kind of reading the press on him and just believing it kind of thing. But that's okay. You see, that doesn't require me to agree with everything Josh Daws says or every position that Josh Daws takes. It doesn't. I think Josh Daws is working for the side of the Angels, and he's doing a really good job at it, a really good job. And so, Josh Daws, I appreciate what you do online. I haven't listened to too much of your podcast. I've listened to a few clips and snippets here and there that people have sent me, and it's really good stuff. Most of what you tweet on Twitter, really good stuff. I appreciate you, brother. I do. And we've talked on the side, and you've mentioned that you appreciate some of what I do as well. I don't want to throw you under the bus and say you appreciate everything I do, because I don't know if you want that association, but you've always been gracious to me, and I really appreciate that. I do. And I'll be honest, I was gonna highlight Josh in one of my Christmas charity videos because I do like what he does, but I chose today to do it because one of those creatures at Gospel Coalition wrote a hit piece about Josh Daws, about how he's become more radicalized because for the clicks, he's taken the positions that are going to get him the most clicks and the most accolades, and it's just I've got some things to say about the man who wrote that hit piece. Obviously, he's projecting. Obviously, we understand that. But there's more going on there as well. And honestly, Gospel Coalition is so disgusting. It is the most disgusting organization that is somehow still considered a legitimately Christian organization that I could imagine. I don't trust any of the creatures that work for the beast that is Gospel Coalition. And it is a beast. It's the most subversive organization out there right now. If you want to see some of the most subversive men in America, look at the council list of Gospel Coalition. Go scroll down, see all their faces, and those are some of the most subversive men in the entire country. Now, Josh Daws might not agree with me on all that, and that's okay. I don't know if he does. I don't know if he doesn't, because we don't talk a lot. But at the end of the day, someone wrote a hit piece about Josh Daws about how he's just chasing clicks, and it's just the most laughable, evil thing to do to a man who's honestly, like, he's here just trying to help. And I gotta be honest with you, like, I can't think of a better example of someone who's obviously trying to help, who's obviously trying to walk the line to do the right thing for the kingdom of God, and to write a hit piece about someone like this. You've got to be one of the most disgusting people on the face of the planet. And I'm not even exaggerating. I'll probably have more to say about that hit piece. We're gonna talk about it, I think, at some point. A lot of people already have, but it just makes me sick. Gospel Coalition is just awful. In any case, and I saw someone's article. Some lady, she had said that she thinks that they're gonna do one of their silent retractions, where they silently change something or silently make an edit or an editor's note without drawing too much attention to it. Just like the mainstream media does. And that whole practice is evil too. It's like, dude, if you do something wrong, apologize for it and draw attention to it, like a man. Do it like a man. It's not this sneaking around stuff. It's just, anyway. Before I get too mad, let me calm down. Gospel Coalition is just the worst. But Josh Daws, I guess I should say, he is not the worst. Give him a follow on Twitter. It's definitely helpful stuff. He also has a podcast, like I said. You can go on Apple Podcasts and get that. The Great Awokening podcast. Good stuff. Thank you for being there to just try to help, Josh. I personally find it very helpful. And God bless you and your family during this Christmas season. I think he's taking a Twitter break right now. Anyway, God bless you, brother. Take care.